Alright, guys, welcome to the session, and I hope all of you guys are doing good. So let's get started with today's session. So again, today we'll try to solve few questions and are of different types. And while solving that, we'll understand how things will work. So let me start with the first question here. So this is the table which we have, orders table. And from this orders table, we are trying to get some of the important information. So let's consider the business scenario. Let's say there is a growing e-commerce business and they are selling variety of products. Now, management believes that a small percent of products contribute to the majority of their sales, right? So there is a concept of Pareto principle. Now, Pareto principle says that 80% of the sales happens from 20% of the products, right? So there's a 80-20 rule basically. So 80% of the sales is happening from 20% of the customers, 80% of the sales happening from 20% of the products, and so on and so forth. Or maybe you can relate it to the HR. In that case, you can say that 80% of the task is done by the 20% of the employees, right? So that is how the Pareto principle is all about. So management believes that the small percentage of products contribute to majority of the sales. They want to analyze that their sales data using the 80-20 rule, that is Pareto principle, to identify the top performing products, right? So which are the top performing products which is contributing to 80% of the sales? That is the requirement which we have, and we have to find out from this orders table which we have. Now, when we will solve this problem statement, we will get to know about the inventory management, right? Based on this analysis, I can very well do a proper inventory management, overstocking the low selling product and understocking the best sellers, right? That means, for example, I am selling a product and that product is very much in demand, right? Because 20% of the products are very much in demand than 80%. So I can very well go ahead and I can say that I will have stock for that particular product rather than those products where the sales is not happening much. Second is marketing optimization, spending marketing budgets on non-performing products. I can basically do not do any marketing on those products where the product is not performing better, right? So I can get the important products which is contributing to the sales and I'll do the marketing for the same. And third is again revenue growth. So because of the lack of insights on which product drive the revenue most, business is not able to focus that. And for that, we have to write this query so that we can get the idea that which product is very much in demand and we can take care of these things of inventory management, marketing optimization, and revenue growth. Now here you can see that this is the data set which we have, which consists of 3 columns in this table: order ID, product ID, and the sales. And I want to know which product is actually in demand, right? So the very first query which I will write, again, we will solve this problem in multiple steps. So the very first step which we will perform is we will try to find out the aggregate sales for each product, right? So aggregate sales for each product. So here what we will do is we'll go ahead and we will write the query. Now aggregate sales for each product means I want to do a group by on product ID. and I want to get the sum of sales, right? That is the task which we have. So I can very well apply the group by, and I can very well go ahead and I can get the sum of sales. So let's do that. I will say select product ID comma sum of sales from orders, and I can give this name as maybe total sales as an alias, group by product ID, right? So this is gonna give me the total sales for that particular product, because if you go back to the original table, you can see that there may be certain entries. As of now, you cannot see any duplicate entry, right? Because the data which I have created is only one product, one entry. But in the real time scenario, there will be a chance that I will have a duplicates, right? I will have a multiple orders with the same product, which is very much possible, right? But as of now, the data is not like that, because we are not focusing on the data much. We are focusing more on the query building. So here you can see that we have this information and I'm just grouping it by. So it is going to give me for every product, it is going to give me the sales. So once this is done, this is my first part of the query where I am finding the total sales for individual products, right? The second thing which I will do is I'll apply the rank on this. I'll apply the rank on the sales, rank on based on the sales. Where the sales is more, I will give the rank as 1. And when the sales is less, I will give the rank as maybe higher. So here I'll go ahead and I will modify this query further. And my second task here is that I want to rank products by sales in the descending order. I'll again go and take this query itself and I'll further expand this query. And let's revise the concept of CTEs as well. So we'll use the with clause and we'll say product sales as, and here I have the query, which is going to give me the product sales. And then I will say select product ID, comma total sales, comma rank over order by total sales in a descending order as rank from prod sales, right? Which is my CTE. So now here you can see that you are getting the input, right? You're getting the input, you're getting the output basically, where we have the value coming in. Till this point, are you guys getting it? So we are applying the rank based on the individual product, and based on the higher the sales, more the like lesser the rank will be. All right. So that is my second step for solving my end problem statement, which I am interested in. Now we'll go to the third step, where I will calculate the cumulative sales, because at the end, my interest is to get the cumulative sales. And in this, what I want is I want to determine which product contributes to 80% of the total sales. So we have to find the total sales across all the products running cumulative sales. That is what we need to find out. So let's write the query, we'll understand. Basically, the requirement is what? The requirement here is that I want to create one more column where it will do the cumulative sum. First record will be 12,000. Second record will be 12,000 plus 8,000, 20,000. Third record will be 12 plus 8 plus 7, right? It's like a cumulative sum we are doing. So that is what we have to do. So let's write the query first and let's see what's going on. So this query, again, I will going to expand further. So select product ID, total sales, which we have. For doing this sum, we have to apply the, let me remove this rank for now, or okay, let's keep it for now. Let's see. Okay. I'll have one more column coming in. Sum of total sales over order by total sales in a descending order as running total. Right. And let me run this. Let's see what happens. You can see that I am getting the running total, that is 12,000. 12 plus 8 is 20,000, right? 20 plus 7 is 27,000. So it's a running total coming in. Okay. So that is my running total. Now, what is the total sales? The total sales which I have is 48,000. Because it's a cumulative sum, right? So this value is what? This value is nothing but sum of all the values, 48,000. And I'm looking for 80% of the same, right? So let me go to the open the calc. 48,000 into 0.8. That is coming out to be 38400. That means roughly these are the products, right? Roughly these are the products because it is 38000. So these are the 5 products I can say which are very much in demand, right? But we'll filter it out. So let's go ahead and let's apply one more query here. On this sum of sales, I will take the 80%. 80% of sum of total. Oh, let me do one thing. Let me do one thing. Let me say sum of total sales over rows between unbounded preceding and unbounded following. Order by total sales DSC. Total sales underscore sum, right? So now you can see that 48 coming in, which is nothing but this total sales. But what is my interest? My interest is 80% of this, 0.8 into. So now you can see that 38,400 coming in, right? 38,400 coming in, which is nothing but 80% of the sales. And what is my cutoff? My cutoff is 38,400. So any value which is less than this, right? Any value which is less than this is what I don't want. So I can say here total sales from prod sales where running total, or as I'm deriving this here, let me create one more, maybe CT here. Full cal C. And here I'll say select star from full cal C where running total is less than 38,400. Right. So these are the products which are coming in, which is less than 38,400. And we can see that these are the 5 products which are very much in demand, and 80% of the sales is happening from these 5 products. So if I want to do the marketing, I can say that I can do the marketing for these products, and at the same time, I can say that uh, inventory management also can be done for these products, right? So that is how we can solve this problem. Are you guys getting this entire query, what we have built? and we build step by step. Okay. So directly going to the solution, what we did, we broke down this to multiple steps, and then we are getting the outcome. So any doubts, let me know. Is this very clear? Shall we proceed? No. Now, the way we did in the last class as well, we'll go ahead and we'll try to solve same type of problem statement further so that you guys, some of you guys may not be aware of what's going on. So that will help us to revise the skill. So let's take another problem on the same lines, but again, before I go to the second problem, again, we already discussed the benefits, right? The benefit is it will improve my inventory planning. It will help me to do the better marketing allocation, and at the same time, it will increase the revenue as well, right? So using this type of SQL, business can identify the key revenue drivers and optimizing marketing and increasing the profitability. So now let's take another example, which is on the same lines. So let me get this table first. Exactly on the same lines, but bit of a difference because here you can see. So now in this particular example, we are focusing on the customer. In the above example, we were focusing on the product, which are the 20% of the products giving the 80% of the sales. In this example, I want to find out which are the 20% of the customers, which are basically giving 80% of the sales. Exactly the same query, but again, we'll go and we'll break it and we'll try to solve it. Right. Now, what I'll do, I'll not write this entire query step by step. I will directly write this bigger query, right? So that we'll understand how we can directly approach, right? First approach was to help you understand how to break the queries in your mind. And this approach is basically how we can proceed further, right? If we are very much sure, then we can directly write the query. So let's start writing the query. So I'll go to customers table. And again, I'll first go ahead and I will. Can we avoid unwanted preceding unbound following by using over function? Yes, we can do that, but in the class I did not discuss, so that's why I went with this option, right? If you are not passing anything inside the bracket, it will take all the rows and all the columns, all the rows basically, right? So that is fine. If I ignore only this part, right? Whatever I have written, unbounded preceding, unbounded following. If I remove this and if I run this, I'm going to get the same output. If you are not passing anything inside the bracket, that means unbounded preceding, unbounded following only, right? So those guys who are not aware of that, so you can write like that also. All right. So let's go ahead and let's take this example. So I will have the customer ID, comma, sum of sales. Again, I have one record per customer, so I may not need that group by, but in the real time, you will not have this type of data. So let's go with the proper approach. So total sales, and I'll apply the group by. Now, once that is done, I will sort this data. I can directly, without applying the ranking and all, I will directly go with the solution building. So this is my with just sales as this entire query. Select customer ID, comma, total sales, comma, sum of total sales over. Again, I want to do the cumulative sum, right? So I will apply order by total sales in a descending order. That is my running total, comma, sum of total sales over, right? So I can put over without anything. That is, it will sum up everything. So over, and I want 80% of this. I want 80% of this from my cust sales, right? So here you can see that we are getting this outcome clearly. Let's give this column name as total sales all, something like that. So you can see 65,200, which is the, what do you say, which is the 80% of the total sales, which is 81,500. And where is the cutoff? This is the cutoff. These are the customers which are lesser than 65,200. So I will go ahead and I will make this query also one of the CTs, cust Kelsey, as this entire. Then I can say select star from cust Kelsey, where running total is less than 65200, right? So exactly on the same lines, you can see that the query is coming in, and which is giving me all the five customers. As of now, it is five customers. It can be any number of customers. So roughly 20% of the, you can see here, it is exactly not 20%. If I go back and check, select star from customers, customer orders. Total customers are 10, but the customer we are getting is 5. That means 50% customer. So Pareto rule says that 20% of the customer will purchase 80% of the product, but again, it's not always true. And our data is also not created like this, right? But almost on the same lines, 20 to 50, 50, 55, something like that, we can think of that this much of sales is happening, something like that. So that's fine. The data is prepared like this. So that's why you can see 5 customers and you are not getting 20 customers, 2 customers, sorry, because 20% is 2 customers. 10 of 20 is 2 customers, right? So that you can ignore for now. But Pareto principle says that 20% of the customer will do 80% of the sales. So it's always not gonna hold true. Okay. All right. So now let's proceed further. Let's take another example. Now this, I'll give you one document later on. So you can go and you can try to solve this type of queries more. I'll go to the next type of query now, right? So this is one of the queries which you can get. You can play around with this. Now let's go to another set of queries where we will work on some networking type of problem, right? So let me open up again a new query. So this type of question also you will get quite extensively, which we will discuss now. So now we have two tables. One is the person table and second is your friend table, right? Two tables are there. This type of problem also will get in the interview where I want to find out some output. Let's try to understand the scenario first and then we'll write the query. So it's mostly for the social media websites. You will get this type of problem. So a social networking platform wants to identify users, maybe whose friends have a high cumulative score, right? So if we go back to the data set, we have two tables, select star from person, where we have the scores, right? Here you can see the scores are there for every user. And there is one more table called friend, where you can see that we have the friend ID and person ID. What it means, friend ID is 1, sorry, the person ID is 1, his friend is 2. So if I go and if I check it out, person ID is 1 and his name is Alice and his friend is Bob, right? So that is what this friend information is giving me. that what are the, what do you say, what are the different friends I have as a person, right? So that means if you see here, one and one, for Alice, we have two friends, that is two and three. And who are those two and three? Those two and three are nothing but Bob and Charlie, right? Same way, if I go to the second one, if I go to the second one, which is 2, 2, we have 4, 5. So for 2, 2, that is Bob, we have 4, 5, David and Tara. And same way we have 2, 4, 5, 6. 6 is also there. So 6 is your Emma as well. Same way, if you go to the 4, we have 1, 2, 3. So for 4, that is for Tara, we have Alice, Bob, and Charlie. So that is the information which I have, which is fine. But now what is the requirement, what we are looking for? So I want to identify that whose friend is having the highest cumulative score. And the purpose is that platform will assign a score to each user based on the engagement, right? So this score is nothing but based on the engagement. You will get certain score. Activity and all the interactions which you are doing, all those are engagement only. Now the goal is to find the user whose friends have a total score above a certain threshold. Let's say my threshold is 100. So I want to know which user are having more than 100 score, right? That is the requirement. Because again, how this will benefit your social media website. So it will basically try to find out which are the more influential users, because more interactions he's doing, that means more content he is sharing, more engagement he is doing in the platform, right? So that is basically helping us to increase our network strength based on his this thing, right? His score. I can understand that, okay, this user is basically the one who is like quite engaged in the platform. So high scoring user can be targeted for exclusive promotions, community leadership roles, or maybe premium features, right? So that is also can be done. That means if I have uh, more of a, what do you say? If I'm interacting more in the platform, I may get certain offers, I may get certain sponsorship, something like that. I can do. I can get a lot of things from this. And same way, I will analyze the friendship, which can help me to do some recommendations as well, right? So I can, if you're using Instagram, so you can see that some of the recommendations you get, that you can follow this guy. Why you are getting that? Because that guy is very much engaging in the platform, right? So that is how this business will take care of. So now we have two tables. The very first thing which I will do is I will calculate the total score for person's friend, right? So that is my first task which I will do. I will get the total score for each person's friend, something like that. So let's try to write the query first, which will help me to get the total score of each user's total friend score and maybe total number of friends, right? Now, very first thing which I will do is I will go back to my friends table and I will join the friends table with the persons table. Then only I'll get the information who is the friend of what, right? So I have to join that. So select star from person P, inner join friend F on P dot person ID is equal to, okay. Before I do the join, try to understand this also. This join is a bit of a tricky join, so you have to understand this. I want to find the friend of Alice, right? Alice is one. Let me go to the friends table. Here, Alice one is present in the person. Alice is also present in the friend as well. One, right? I will do a join on the friend's ID because I want to find what? I want to find Alice's friend, right? Person ID friend is 2, but if I say for 4, right? For 4 is what? 4 is your Tara. Now who is Tara's friend? Tara's friend we have is 1, 2, 3, right? Let me join this first and let's see what will happen, right? So let me apply both the joins where I will do a join on p dot person ID is equal to f dot person ID. That is my first type of join. And second is I will join on p dot person ID and f dot friends ID, friend ID, right? Now let's try to compare whether is there any difference or not, right? So let me get the data first and let me copy this. So now here I'm putting my this data and let me get this and let me get this, right? Control V. So here you can see that I am getting only one entry for Alice, but here I am getting two entries for Alice, right? Let me get the column name as well so that will make more sense. Person ID, name, score, person ID, friend ID. Person ID, name, score, person ID, and friend ID. Same way, person ID, name, score, friend ID, and person ID. Right? Now let's try to understand. This is basically the first one where I'm joining on person. So this is a join based on PID and PID. And this is the join based on PID and FID, right? So this is the information which we have. Okay. And let me also do one thing. Let me get the individual table as well so that we'll get the clear cut understanding. This is my individual table. This is my person ID. This is my name. This is my score. This is my person ID. And this is my FID. Okay, so this is my data set which I have. Now, when I join on person ID to person ID, right? In that case, let's see what happens. Basically, this joins with this, and this again joins with this, right? That's why you can see there are two Alice's record coming in. For that, you will get two friend, 2 and 3. Same way for 2 as well. 2 joins with these two. So you can see 3 2 records coming in. 4 5 6 is the friend. Same way 3. There is no 3, so nothing coming in. 4, there is 4, so 3 4s coming in. There is no 5 6, so no 5 6 coming in. That is based on this join. This is the output coming in. For this output, what is happening? This joins with this, right? So I can understand that, okay, Alice having a friend, which is 4, right? So Alice, 4 coming in. So the relationship here is what? The relationship here is something like that. 1 is a person who is considering 2 as a friend. Maybe 2 is not considering 1 as a friend, right? So you have to understand this. When I do this join with this join, it is going to give me the output where he is considering him as a friend. He is considering him as a friend. But what is my interest? My interest is that I want those friends who consider him as a friend. Right. So here you can see that 4 is considering him as a friend. So I want that record and I don't want the other way record. Right. Are you guys understanding the difference here? What is happening in the PID join and what is happening in the PID FID join? Is that making sense? All right. So now we'll go ahead and we'll apply the join on FID and PID. So I'll go with the below wala join and you are getting this as an outcome, which is basically nothing but your, what do you say, person ID and friend ID wala join we applied. In this, what I will do is I'll have person ID, sum of score, and I want the count as well. Total FRND score and count. You can write count star count one, whatever is fine. Number of friends. And we'll apply the group by. So here you can see that I am getting the outcome where we have friend ID 4 who has 3 friends, right? Let me go back to the Excel. I have friend, this is what we got, right? This is what we got. We applied this join. So friend ID, we took what? We took the F dot person ID. F is what? F is nothing but a friends table. F dot person ID here. And for this person ID 4, you can see we have 3 friends. 1, 2, 3. Same way if I go to 1, person ID is 1. Person ID is 1. He has only one friend, which is 4, right? There is no other entry. In fact, sorry, we have 2 entries here. But count of record. Okay, sorry, my bad. Wait a minute. Just give me a second. Person ID is 4, number of friend 3. Person ID, let me get it from P. One, 1.2. Person ID 4. This is my F dot person ID. Okay, give me a second. F dot friend ID is fine. P dot person ID is okay. F dot person ID. F. Sum of P score F dot person ID. Count. This is my column. It's image. Sum of p square count person in zone F. P dot person ID F dot friend ID. P dot person ID F dot friend ID. This one. One का entry कितना है? 2 number of friends. So when I join this, PID, FID, 1, 1. PID, 4, name, score, Alice, 40. 2, this joins with, give me a second, I think कुछ तो गड़बड़ हुआ है. Control minus, I'll apply the join again. Person stable, PID, name, score, PID. ठीक है, we'll go with this वाला join, PID and FID. PID joins with FID. So 1 joins with 1. So I will get 1 Alice, 40, 4, 1. 2 joins with 2 and 2. तो बॉब का होगा तुम्हारा 2 एंट्री. बॉब का स्कोर होगा 50, 50. स्कोर में पी से ही उठा रहे हैं, ठीक है, तो सेम रहेगा. 2 joins with this, 1 हो जाएगा. और ये 1, 4, मतलब की हो जाएगा ये 1 and 4. ये हो जाएगा तुम्हारा 2, 2. ठीक है, ये तुम्हारा PID है कमिंग फ्रॉम P टेबल. ये तुम्हारा नेम है, ये तुम्हारा स्कोर है, ये तुम्हारा PID है कमिंग फ्रॉम फ्रेंड्स टेबल. और ये तुम्हारा FID है कमिंग फ्रॉम फ्रेंड्स टेबल. चार्ली पे चलते हैं. 3 जॉइंट्स विथ 3, 3. चार्ली की 2 एंट्री बनेगी. सो 3, 3, चार्ली, चार्ली, 30, 30. चार्ली के 2 फ्रेंड 1 है और 4 है, तो यहाँ पे 1, 4 हो जाएगा. 3, 3. 4 ज्वाइंस विथ 4, 4 की एक एंट्री होगी जो कि 2 है। 4 की तारा की एक एंट्री होगी 60 जो कि 2 है। 5 की कोई 5 की भी एक एंट्री है यहाँ पे 2 की। 5 डेविड एंड score is 25. PID is 2 and 6 key. 45 is the score. 6 joins with 6. There is only one entry for 6, which is 2. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8। 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8। ठीक है, तो ये मेरा ज्वाइंट आउटपुट हो गया। तो एक वापस चलते हैं। नाउ एफ डॉट पर्सन आईडी पे हम लोग ग्रुप बाय कर रहे हैं। एफ डॉट पर्सन आईडी पे हम लोग ग्रुप बाय कर रहे हैं। एफ डॉट पर्सन आईडी पे इस पे ग्रुप बाय कर रहे हैं। तो 1 होगा, 4 होगा, 2 होगा, राइट। तो हमारा होगा एंट्री 4 1 एंड 2। 4 के सारे का स्कोर दिस प्लस दिस इज कमिंग आउट टू बी 120 एंड 1 का दिस प्लस दिस कमिंग आउट टू बी 80 एंड 2 का दिस प्लस दिस कमिंग आउट टू बी 130। ठीक है, उसके बाद हम और क्या उठा रहे हैं? हम लोग उठा रहे हैं, सम निकल गया, एफ पर्सन आईडी हो गया। काउंट ऑफ फ्रेंड्स, इसमें भी ग्रुप बाय हो रहा है तो मतलब काउंट मतलब इसी का काउंट ले रहा है। तो 4 की अपनी 3 काउंट हो गई, 1 की अपनी 2 काउंट हो गई, इसकी 3 काउंट हो गई। क्या वही आ रहा आउटपुट में? ऑलराइट, दिस इज फाइन। ये समझ में आया सबको? व्हाट इज हैपनिंग हियर? इज दैट मेकिंग सेंस? हाउ दिस आउटकम केम इन? तो बेसिकली हमारे 4 के 3 एंट्री है। 4 की यहाँ पे 3 एंट्री है, क्योंकि 4 के तुम्हारे 3 दोस्त हैं, 1 2 3। 1 की तुम्हारी 2 एंट्री है बिकॉज 1 के 2 दोस्त हैं, एंड 2 के तुम्हारे 3 दोस्त हैं तो उसकी 3 एंट्री है। Is that making sense or not? No, then let me know. I'll repeat this. Or at least respond. Don't sleep in the class. Okay. Let me redo this. So basically we have two tables. This is the table and this is the second table. This is my person ID. This is the name. This is the score. This is my person ID and this is my friend ID. So now what are we doing is we are joining on the person ID with the friend ID first of all, right? That we already discussed why we are doing it, because I want one को कौन friend मानता है, I want that, right? So for that I have to connect this guy with this guy. So that's why I'm joining this column with this column, right? Now let me highlight these columns which I will be used in join. So now जब मैं इसको इसके साथ ज्वाइन करूंगा, 1 will join with 1. That means the entry which I will get is 1 Alice 40 4 1, right? 1 Alice 40 4 1, right? Because 4 1 का ये है, यहाँ हम इसको ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, we are joining these two guys. So 4 will be coming in, which is nothing but the person ID, and this is FID, and this is person ID, this is name, and this is the score. Okay, this first row clear, all of you? All right. So now this one again joins. Do we have any other record? I don't see any other record, so that's okay, right? We'll keep it as is. मतलब वन का फ्रेंड फोर है, और आई कैन से फोर, वन को सॉरी, वन को फोर फ्रेंड मानता है, राइट? दैट इज व्हाट आई कैन से. तो मुझे इस बंदे का स्कोर निकालना है, राइट? आई वांट टू गेट द स्कोर ऑफ दिस गाय, राइट? इफ आई गो बैक टू द प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट, आई वांट टू गेट द स्कोर ऑफ दिस गाय, कि इसके कितने फ्रेंड स्कोर है, राइट? इसके फ्रेंड के स्कोर क्या है, इसके फ्रेंड के स्कोर क्या है. तो इसका फ्रेंड ये है, उसका स्कोर 40 है, राइट? तो ऐसे ही हम लोग आगे और बढ़ेंगे. बॉब पे चलते हैं. ये बॉब है. बॉब की यहाँ पे तुम्हारी दो एंट्री है, तो बॉब डालते हैं. बॉब का स्कोर 50 है. बॉब को कौन कौन दोस्त मानता है? वन मानता है और फोर मानता है, राइट? तो बॉब को दोस्त मानता है वन एंड फोर. तो बॉब की मेरी दो एंट्री हो जाएगी. तो अब तुम देखोगे इसमें ये वाला बंदा जो पर्सन है उसके दो दोस्त हो गए हैं. अब इन दोनों दोस्त का स्कोर क्या है? 40 + 50, 90. अब तीसरे पे चलते हैं, चार्ली पे. चार्ली को दोस्त कौन मानता है? वन मानता है और फोर मानता है. तो चार्ली को भी वन फोर मानते हैं. तो यहाँ चार्ली की भी दो एंट्री हो गई. फिर आता है तारा पे. तारा फोर है. फोर को दोस्त कौन मानता है? फोर को सिर्फ टू ही दोस्त मानता है, राइट? तो फोर को, क्योंकि तारा है जिसका स्कोर 60 है, उसको टू ही दोस्त मानता है. सेम वे डेविड, जिसका स्कोर 25 है. फाइव को दोस्त कौन मानता है? वो भी टू टू मानता है. एंड फाइनली एमा. एमा को दोस्त कौन मानता है? 45. उसको दोस्त मानता है सिक्स वाला टू. उसको भी टू ही मानता है बस, राइट? तो यहाँ पर कितने रिकॉर्ड थे? एक दो तीन चार पाँच छः सात आठ. इसका आउटकम में मेरे 8 रिकॉर्ड्स आ गए, सारे ज्वाइन हो गए. अब मेरा इंटरेस्ट इस बंदे पे है. अब इसके तीन बंदे हैं जिसको ये दोस्त मानता है, राइट? इसके फोर के तीन बंदे हैं जिसको ये दोस्त मानता है. तो इसके कितने दोस्त हुए? तीन दोस्त हुए. कौन कौन? वन, थ्रू, टू एंड थ्री. सेम वे वन के कितने दोस्त हुए? वन के तुम्हारे दो दोस्त हुए, टू एंड थ्री. टू के कितने दोस्त हुए? टू के तुम्हारे तीन दोस्त हुए, फोर फाइव सिक्स. सो नाउ व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, आई विल ग्रुप बाय ऑन दिस. मतलब कि चार के कितने दोस्त हुए? तीन दोस्त हुए. एक का कितना दोस्त हुआ? दो दोस्त हुआ. और दो का भी तीन दोस्त हुआ, राइट? तो नंबर ऑफ दोस्त मिल गए, खुद बंदे मिल गए. अब उसका स्कोर भी, दोस्तों का स्कोर जानना है, राइट? तो चार के जो तुम्हारे तीन बंदे थे उसका स्कोर क्या है? 40 + 50 + 30, दैट इज कमिंग आउट टू 120. तो 120 स्कोर हो गया. वन वाले का क्या स्कोर है? 50 + 30, दैट इज 80. तो ये 80 हो गया. एंड टू वाले का स्कोर क्या है? तीनों का लास्ट का सम 130. 130, बिकॉज वी आर ग्रुपिंग बाय ऑन दिस एंड डूइंग द काउंट. तो इसका काउंट कितना है? चार के तीन ही काउंट है, तो फोर का तीन काउंट हो गया. वन के दो काउंट है, दो काउंट हो गया. और टू के तीन काउंट है, तीन काउंट हो गए. टोटल 8 रिकॉर्ड सीधे. प्लस हम सम ऑफ स्कोर भी कर रहे हैं. फोर का कितना स्कोर है? तो दिस प्लस दिस प्लस दिस, दैट इज 120. वन का दिस प्लस दिस, दैट इज कमिंग आउट टू बी 80. एंड टू का तीन, ये तीन, तो ये तीनों का सम 130. एंड दैट इज द 3 रिकॉर्ड यू आर गेटिंग इन द क्वेरी ऑल्सो, राइट? गेटिंग इट ऑल ऑफ यू? अब इसमें से मुझे वो वाले बंदे निकालने हैं जिनके 100 के ऊपर है, राइट? तो इसके ऊपर एक और क्वेरी चला देंगे हम लोग, वेयर कंडीशन लगा के, ग्रेटर देन this. So here I will say group by this, having having sum of p score more than 100. ये तो बनते हैं, राइट। अब इसका अगर मुझे नाम चाहिए तो मैं वापस ज्वाइन कर दूंगा इसको, राइट। आई विल ज्वाइन इट फर्दर, दिस आउटकम विच आई गॉट, आई विल ज्वाइन इट फर्दर विद द पर्सन टेबल एंड गेट द नेम ऑल्सो। ये चार और दो कौन है, राइट। पर्सन आईडी पे ज्वाइन कर देंगे, तो इसको भी करा देते हैं, चलो। विथ स्कोर डिटेल्स एज select star from score details inner join uh, person p, or let's give this as p1 on score detail को sd कर देता हूँ, on sd dot person id is equal to p1 dot person id। ठीक है, तो तुम्हारा बॉब और तारा है जिनका स्कोर ज्यादा है। 2 और 4 कौन है, बॉब और तारा। एक बार चेक कर लेते हैं एक्सेल में जाकर, बॉब और तारा। So that is the outcome which you are getting. Is this query making sense? Now what I want is I want you to try after the class, अगर मैं पर्सन आईडी आईडी पे ज्वाइन करता तो कैसा होता, राइट। अभी हमने पर्सन आईडी और फ्रेंड आईडी पे ज्वाइन करके आउटपुट निकाला। पर्सन आईडी पे ज्वाइन करते तो क्या होता, और वो क्या, विल दैट मेक एनी सेंस और नॉट। आई वांट यू टू ट्राई, मोस्टली इट विल नॉट मेक एनी सेंस, बट आई वांट यू टू चेक फ्रॉम योर साइड। Alright, so let's take one more example. We'll use the same person and friend table, and we'll try to come up with another requirement. Now, what I want is I want to find out, maybe let's say okay, let's say I want to find out top 3 most connected users, right? So maybe in the social networking company wants to identify the most connected users by counting their total number of friends. If the friends are more, then automatically they are more connected, and if the friends are less, then that is less connected. And actually we got the answer itself directly, because if you see here, we already counted the number of friends in the above query। मेरे ख्याल से ऑलरेडी हम लोग सॉल्व कर चुके हैं ये वाला जो इनर क्वेरी आ रहा था। नंबर ऑफ फ्रेंड्स से हमने निकाल लिया, राइट। तो इसमें अगेन 4 and 2 इज द आंसर, बिकॉज 4 and 2 आर द मोस्ट कनेक्टेड फ्रेंड्स। तीन तीन फ्रेंड्स दोनों के, राइट। तो इसको आई थिंक रिपीटेटिव ही है, लेट्स प्रोसीड फर्दर। ओके, एक और काम करते हैं, इस पे एक और क्वेश्चन आता है, इसको भी थोड़ा ब्रेक करते हैं। आई वॉन्ट टू फाइंड आउट म्यूचुअल फ्रेंड्स बिटवीन द टू यूजर्स, राइट। आई वॉन्ट टू फाइंड द म्यूचुअल फ्रेंड्स, थोड़ा ये अलग हो जाएगा। So let's write the query. Again, we are going to use the same two tables and we'll try to find the query. Now, if I go back to this Excel, let's So this is my Excel now. This is my data again. We are coming up with another problem statement where I want to find out the mutual friends. Now, to find out the mutual friend, right? I have this friends table. I have this friends table and I have this persons table. Here I will join. If I join this friends table, right? And let me make this one more. Person is having friend this, right? One, one. I want to find out the mutual friends. So mutual as in let's say this is my friend. Let's give this as mutual friend. If I join friend to, this is my friend. This is my friend. So can I say that if I join this FID with FID, I will get to know that, okay, for 2, I have these 2 person as a friend, right? For 2 का friend कौन कौन है? 1 and 4. Same way for 3, I have this and this as a friend. Right? So 2 का जो, can I say 2 is the mutual friend of 1 and 4? Can I say that? 2 is the mutual friend of 1 and 4, right? Same way 3 is the mutual friend of 1 and 4 as well, right? 4, I can say 4 is the 4 का कोई म्यूचुअल फ्रेंड नहीं है. 4 का फ्रेंड 2 ही है, राइट? देयर इज नो म्यूचुअल फ्रेंड. 5 का देख लेते हैं. 5 का भी एक ही फ्रेंड है. 6 का और 1 का भी एक ही फ्रेंड है. बेसिकली 2 और 3 का ही म्यूचुअल फ्रेंड है, राइट? ओनली 2 and 3 is only having the mutual friends. So if I join my this, let's give this table name as F1 and let's give this table name as F2. If I join F1 with F2 on FIDs, let's see what happens, right? Let's see. Select star from friend F1, inner join friend F2. It's a self join, right? Joining the same table. F1 dot friend ID is equal to F2 dot friend ID. So here you can see that 2, उसको थोड़ा पोजीशन ऐसे कर लेते हैं. F1 dot person ID, comma F1 dot friend ID, comma F2 dot friend ID, comma F2 dot person ID. तो यहाँ देखो 2 2, जिसका कॉमन फ्रेंड तुम्हारा 1 4 है. 3 3 1 4 है. 4 का एक ही फ्रेंड है. लाइक बेसिकली 1 4 का कॉमन फ्रेंड 2 है. वन फोर का कॉमन फ्रेंड थ्री है। टू का कोई कॉमन फ्रेंड नहीं है। फोर का कुछ नहीं है। फोर का, टू टू वन फोर, ये तो वही वापस आ गया। राइट, टू टू वन फोर एंड थ्री थ्री वन फोर, दैट इज ओके। बेसिकली कॉमन फ्रेंड मेरे यही है, टू और थ्री दिख रहे हैं इसमें। So I'll get this outcome. Let me give this name as f1 dot friend id as the mutual friend. And let me get the, mm, let me join this further on the persons table. Let's see. Inner join person p on f1 dot friend id is equal to p dot person id. And let me get the p dot name. इसे हटा सकते हैं पर्सन आईडी। जस्ट गिव मी अ सेकंड, आई विल लेट यू नो। ये हटा सकते हैं। Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me get back to you on this because I am also not sure what query I have to write. I'll just check on this and I'll get back to you on this particular question, right? Because I forgot the scenario what I wanted to explain. So let's skip this question for now, right? We'll take it in the next session. All right, so let's take one more example. Now, this one example will be a bit of a different example. So let's try to understand what we are looking for in this. Okay. So now in this particular problem statement, the requirement is that I have two tables. One is the users table and second is the trips table. So let's quickly talk about those tables and then we'll try to understand the scenario. So I have this table where I have the user ID, username, and whether the user is banned or not, right? Second is trips table where I have the trip ID, client ID, driver ID, on which date the trip was requested, and what is the status of the trip, whether it completed or not, right? So that is the information which I have. The common column which I have is the client ID and user ID, right? Client ID is basically joined with the user ID in that table. If I wanted to join, if I want to join in any case, right? Now the requirement here is I want to again, this is for the cab type of companies. So companies facing an increasing number of ride cancellation and they want to analyze daily trips which are getting cancelled, or I want to find the rate at which the cancellation is happening, and so that I can identify the pattern and improve the services. The company which is facing problem is like driver and passenger frequently cancelling the trip, which is leading to more longer wait times. Company want to track daily cancellation percentages to identify the trends, and at the end, the goal is to reduce the number of cancellations by implementing the better policies. We have two tables. One is your user table, second is the trip table, where I have the information with me. The very first thing which I will do is I will find out the total, count the total cancelled trips, right? Total trips and let's say total cancelled trips, right? How many total trips we have, and out of that, how many total cancelled trips we have, right? So that is what we need to find out. So let's write the query. I can directly hit the other table, which is the trips table, because I am having all the information there. Here you can see the total number of trips as well and how many are cancelled, how many are completed. I can get that also. So only trips table is more than sufficient for me. And I want to do it for every day. Every day, how many trips are happening and how many trips are getting cancelled, right? That is what we want to find out. So as we want to do every day, I will do a group by on the requested ad. You can see, for example, here you can see that we have 3 trips on the 1st of February. Out of that, 2 completed, 1 cancelled. 2nd of February, I have 2 trips, 1 completed, 1 cancelled. And same way in the 3rd as well, 1 completed, 1 cancelled. So I want to get the count, and out of that, I want to get the count also of completed and cancelled. Basically cancelled and total, right? I want the cancel. That means I want 1 cancel and 3 total, 1 cancel and 2 total, 1 cancel and 2 total, like that, right? So I want an outcome, something like this, you can say. All the details, like on which date, how many trip cancelled, and total trips, right? Let's say 1st of February, 2nd of February, 3rd of February. I had two, I had 1 trip cancelled, 1 trip cancelled out of 3, right? Here I had 1 trip cancel out of 2 and 1 trip cancel out of 2. That is the interest I have. That is what I need to find out. And then I will calculate the percentages, which is again, I can just multiply this with 100 and I'll get the information. So let's write the query first to get this type of table, which I am looking for, right? So here I'll say, so again, this type of question also you will get quite extensively, and I have also asked multiple times in the test as well. So request at, where we are applying the count inside the case, right? Case inside the count. So that type of question you will get case or some whatever, right? So here I'll say case when status in cancelled by a client or cancelled by driver. I just want to count it, right? I want to count it. Then it is considered as one, else consider it as null, right? So what will it do? If it is falling in the cancelled by client or cancelled by driver, it will count it as one, else it will count it as null. So whenever cancellation is happening, it will count, else it will not count, right? So that is one query as cancelled trip, comma, count star, that is total trips. And I have to apply the group by also because we are applying the aggregation at request at. So here you can see that we have on 1st February, one cancel, second one cancel, third one cancel, and total trip is 322. That is what the expectation is, right? If you see here, 1 3 1 2 1 2, 1 3 1 2 1 2. So that is looking perfectly fine. Are you guys clear with this query, all of you, till this point? All right. So now once I have this information, again, I will make it as a CT. So with total trips, select request add, comma, uh, cancelled trip count divided by total trips from total trips. So you are getting the percentages. On every day, how much percentage of trip is cancelling? Right. So on the 1st of February, there is 33% cancellation. On the 2nd and 3rd February, we have around 50% cancellation. So that is what we had to find out, and that is how we wrote the query. Is that making sense? All right. All right. So I think this is what I wanted to cover. Any doubts you have, let me know. I'll share one few questions mostly this week, right? On whatever we have discussed, because this is the last class of this week. We'll connect again next week. So whatever we have discussed, what patterns we have completed, right? I'll share few questions by mostly Friday, and I want you to solve that from your side. Right. All right. So we'll see you in the next class, mostly next week. And then take care. Weekend class for DS13 is there. So we'll connect.